Okay.
Okay, we're good to go.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. And with that, we will call to order the September 3rd, 2020 virtual Planning Commission meeting for the City of Kalamazoo. Thank you all for joining us on this lovely holiday weekend eve. Can we get a roll call, please?
Chambers,
Here.
Ellis,
Present.
Espinosa, and Greenman Wright are not present. We'll move on. Milliken,
Here.
Patelko,
Here.
Pitts is absent. Bias,
Here.
and Wisner.
Yes.
Emily's here.
Emily's now here.
I'm here.
All right. Perfect
Welcome.
timing. Perfect timing.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioners, we were sent an agenda for this evening's meeting. Mr. Eldridge, were there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda. I just want to point out that there was some letters of support for both public hearings tonight that were circulated mid-afternoon today. So that was the only additional information.
Great. So with no changes to the agenda, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda that was submitted?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by, I'm going to give it to Ellis, support by Wisner. All in favor of the motion? Say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? All right, motion is approved. Also in our packet were the meeting minutes from the July 29th, 2020 meeting. Were there any comments, changes, concerns on those? Nothing? All right, can I get a motion to approve those minutes then?
I move to approve the minutes as presented. Support.
Great, motion by Vias, support by Chambers. All in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Same sign? Great. Thank you, that's approved. Any communication or announcement?
No communications or announcements tonight.
Fantastic, with the exception of the letters of support that you indicated previously. Any new business for the agenda?
No new business for the agenda.
Great. So we'll move into public hearings. We've got two on the agenda tonight. And just a reminder for anyone listening or tuning in online to leave a public comment on either of these cases. Please call 269-226-6756 6573. After presentations from staff and the applicants, we will pause to listen to any messages that are left in either of these items. And when you call, you'll be given a prompt to determine which hearing you would like to leave a comment. And if you have a comment on an item that is not one of the two public hearings, there will be a portion of the meeting later in the agenda when we can hear those comments on non-agenda items. Again, that'll be later in the agenda, and there will be a prompt for that as well on the voicemail. So again, that number 269-226-6573. So without further ado, we'll kick off PC 2020.12, a request for special use permit to change a family daycare to a group daycare at 3069 Mount Olivet Road. Mr. Eldridge, can you kick us off?
I sure will. So I'm going to screen share here and show some slides while I'm talking. Make it a little more exciting. There we go. All righty. And then we'll let the applicant fill in the gaps. So the first public hearing that we have tonight is a special use permit to expand a daycare operation from a family daycare of 6 children to a group daycare with a capacity of 7 to 12 at 3069 Mount Olivet Road. Some background on the property. It is located in the Burke Acres neighborhood. It's in zone RS-5 residential single dwelling district. Some information on the property and the house itself. It is a single-story home built in 1953. Square footage is 907 square feet of living space on the ground floor level. The applicant also has a finished basement, which is another roughly 800 square feet, but that's because that's not accessible, so to speak. It's not part of the daycare area. Your backyard is fenced in and has a mulch play area, which some may have seen in the photos that were attached to the agenda already. Front yard does have a double lane driveway. Ms. Ambimbowo has been licensed to operate this daycare since 2019. And her range of age of kids is 6 months to 12 years of age. And in addition to that, she, as far as her hours, she serves both first and second shift workers and is open Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to midnight. Currently, her last child is picked up at 11:30 at night, and she's closed Saturdays and Sundays. This just gives you a good overview of the frontage of the property. And I did talk to the applicant about the sign. We'll work on the reduction of the sign because daycares aren't supposed to have a freestanding sign out in the front yard. This is a view looking north from the rear yard, and you can see the back of the single family home to the north. You can also see a little bit of the play structure in the backyard. This is a view looking to the east at the single family residence to the east, and to the south across the street is single family homes also, and to the west is single family. So looking at the zoning again, the entire area on our map here is RS-5. And we look at the existing land use. As you can see there, again, consistency. It's all residential. And there are a few rentals in the area, but again, it's all, they're 1-unit rentals. So moving on to the master plan and the strategic vision alignment. The future land use map, does, clearly show this area all as RS1, which is described as low intensity residential, and home daycares are an approved and appropriate use for the R1 residential district. Obviously, the 6 or fewer is permitted by right in residential zones. It's when you go to the 7 to 12 category, the group daycare, that that the special use permit then is required. As far as the alignment with the strategic vision goals, complete neighborhoods is touched on as far as supporting a full range of daily needs to the community. And this location definitely facilitates ease and convenience, for access for those that live nearby that may need daycare services. And as far as the public noticing, we did the normal public noticing to the residents within 300 feet, and that was mailed out August 19th. The applicant has done her own outreach and talked with neighbors, and was able to provide 2 letters of support, one from the immediate neighbor to the east, Leisha Fisher, and then one of the residents directly across the street to the south, Martin Cleary, also wrote a letter of support. With regard to the conformance with the criteria, the proposed special use is appropriate for the proposed location and compatible with the character of the surrounding land uses. The existing daycare operation meets all the additional requirements for a group daycare listed in Chapter 4.2 K2, which include that the appearance of the house remained in character with the neighborhood. And then the second criteria is that an outdoor play area must be provided that is a minimum of 100 square feet. And that this outdoor play area be fenced. And the outdoor play area is more than 100 square feet, what the applicant has in the backyard. The use will not create any adverse visual impact on the adjacent properties, as this daycare category allows for only up to 7 to 12 children. Additionally, an occupancy inspection is required by the building official for a group daycare, to make sure that all life safety code requirements are met. And as is required with group daycare homes, children will only be allowed to play outside with the proper supervision in the fenced play area. So obviously the kids will be indoors, for a fair part of the day. The existing road capacity will be sufficient, clearly, for this particular use. Mount Olivet is a collector street and has a fair amount of traffic on it already. There's also curbside parking. The existing 2-lane driveway will be sufficient for pickups and drop-offs. And just some bullet points as far as the rationale for staff's recommendation. The proposed daycare is an allowed use in RS5. The proposed use will comply with the zoning ordinance requirements, including the fenced outdoor play area. There is a 2-lane driveway for drop-offs and pickups of children. And the expansion of this existing daycare aligns with 2 of the strategic vision goals, the complete neighborhood, and the other goal, complete neighborhood, and the alignment with the, it aligns with the 1 strategic goal, complete neighborhoods. I thought I was missing something in this slide. And then the last thing I want to mention is the letters of support that were received. So the recommendation tonight is that the Planning Commission approve the special use permit to allow this daycare to be elevated to a group daycare. The one condition is that the group daycare shall not be operated until it has the required license from the state of Michigan. And that's my presentation for this first public hearing. Thank you.
You moved me. All right. Thank you. Are there any clarifying questions for staff at this moment? All right. If not, can we hear from the applicant?
Hi. My name is Joy Abimbo. I've been into daycare for about 10 years, and I've worked with the elderly for like 4 years before I decided to start up my home daycare. And I've run the home daycare for like 1 year. It's gonna be 1 year next week. So, and I notice I keep having lots of people that want to bring in their kids, their children, and I feel I still have enough space for children. So that's why I decided to go into group to see if I will be approved for group home daycare. And what else? I'm a single mom of 3, and I've lived in America for almost 10 years.
Great. Well, thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant at this time? One question I had was in terms of staffing. Is it just you? Do you have additional staff? Will you need additional staff if
Yeah,
this is
I will need an
approved?
additional staff. I have
Okay.
my cousin is living with me, so she's going to be assisting me once I have 12 children, up to 12. So she's going to be assisting me. But right now, I have 6 of them. I do it alone, and once in a while, my cousin assists me with that.
And then I think it was in your letter, or maybe it was in the staff presentation, it talked about second shift work as well. Is it, if it's approval for 7 to 12, would some of that bleed into second shift? Is that some of your thinking as well? So it would be spread out, or okay?
Yeah, because right now I have a baby that comes in 4:30 and leave 11:30 p.m. His mom work second shift. So she drops him off 4:30 and picks him up around 11:30. That's every Thursday and Tuesday and Thursdays. So once my assistant is here with me, I think I should be able to take more of second shift. But right now I have just one, and the rest are first shift that comes in the morning as early as 6 a.m. and leave 5:30 p.m.
Great. Any other questions at this moment? Seeing none, do we have any public? I guess I should say I'll open the public hearing. Are there any public comments that we've received on this item?
We haven't received any public comments at this time.
No public comments. Okay, other than the 2 letters of support that were submitted, which are on the record as well. Okay. With that, we'll close the public hearing. Before we take a motion, are there any other technical questions or details? The one technical question I had, Pete, can you give a little more clarification? You said in your staff report something about the building. At some point in here, there was going to need to be an inspection by the building official. Can you talk a little bit about when that happens, or does that need? I guess I'm asking, does that need to be a condition as well, or how does that play into all this?
That it does not need to be a condition. It's actually one of the required forms that Ms. Abimbo has to submit for her group daycare license. In fact, Ms. Abimbo, can you expound upon that? Because you also mentioned that you have to have your your furnace looked at, and there's other requirements that, this
Okay.
inspections you have to have done before you can apply to the state.
Okay, with that, I need to get my furnace inspection done, my heating system and radon system inspection, which I did last year and is still considered, is still, I can still use it again this year because I spoke to my inspector from the state. She said it's still good. I can still use it because it's good for like 2 years. So I can still use that. Then I need to have my CPR, which I have, CPR certifications, first aid, and also, I think that's about it.
Yep, and then then the inspection from the building official. So, and then after she submits, they send out a daycare person from the state to do a site inspection.
Yes, the site inspection.
So, yeah, so the special use permit is the first step, and then there's the inspections and so forth that she needs, and then the submission of the paperwork. And then the state does an inspection. So
The
so I don't.
daycare license is inclusive of that.
Yeah. So we don't. I feel comfortable not having any additional conditions added other than the state license needs to be issued.
Yeah.
Perfect. Great. All right. Well, I saw no one else jumping, so at this point, I think we'll be ready for a motion to proceed with discussion on the matter. Anybody? Looking for a motion to approve the special use permit for the group daycare use, going from group daycare use for 7 to 12 children, with the condition of the group daycare not being operated until the required license is obtained from the state of Michigan.
So moved. I couldn't find my agenda on the screen. Thanks.
All right. Motion by Greenman Wright. Do we have support?
Support.
Yeah, support by Vias. Good. Thank you for that. With that, Ms. Greenman Wright, do you have anything you'd like to add to kick off discussion?
Nothing beside the fact that this is exactly what we like to see in our special use applications. You've obviously done a lot of work in preparing your home and have been running successful care business if there's more demand. So we're really appreciative of the service that you're performing here in the city. And I'll be voting yes. I don't think there's any hesitation on my part at all about supporting the special use permit.
Any other discussion? I'll just add it appears we're in compliance with the zoning ordinance, certainly compliance with the master plan, and as was stated, use in high demand, and I put a lot of stock in the staff report and in the state of Michigan licensing process when it comes to uses like this. So thank you for all the guidance that those provide. I think if there's nothing else, we'll be ready for a roll call vote.
I can get myself unmuted here. Okay, let's start with Mr. Wisner,
Yes.
Vias,
Yes.
Patelko,
Yes.
Milliken,
Yes.
Greenman Wright,
Yes.
and Ellis,
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank
Good. So now moving on to our next item, PC 2020.13, Boys and Girls Club, Greater Kalamazoo, requesting a special use permit, allowing a community service center in an M1 district. Mr. Eldridge, you're up again.
Okay, I'm just pulling up the PowerPoint right now. Bear with me just one.
Pete, you seem to be muted.
Okay, the PowerPoint has just loaded up. Thank you. All right. Okay, for our second public hearing, we have a special use permit brought forward by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Kalamazoo for a new facility that is considered a community service center. And the location is 825, 847 Portage, as well as 720 and 726 East Vine Street. So 4 parcels involved. Just some background on the Boys and Girls Club before I turn it over to Mr. Lynn, who has plenty to add. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Kalamazoo has been provided youth services for education and professional development for almost 70 years in Kalamazoo. This organization currently has 3 satellite locations in the area: the Douglas unit on West Patterson Street, a location on Lake Street, and a northeastern unit on Gertrude Street, which is out in Kalamazoo Township. The Boys and Girls Club has 3 focus neighborhoods and intends to continue a presence in these 3 neighborhoods: Northside, Edison, and Eastside. And at the present time, this property that they are in the process of purchasing is 1.47 acres, so almost an acre and a half. The facility that is proposed is approximately 30,000 square feet, and it will be used for administrative offices as well as programming space, and a gymnasium is planned. So this is the subject site. As you can see, there is 1 building remaining. That was one correction from the staff report. 3 of the parcels are vacant, and the former Grapevine Furniture building is still standing on the south parcel. Looking to the north, the property is bordered by some single-family residences and a mixed-use building right on the corner of East Vine and Portage. To the east, we have the machine fastener retail business. To the south, we have the Kalamazoo Loaves and Fishes Food Pantry. And then to the west, we have a variety of businesses, car sales, real estate office. So with that being said, looking at the zoning, it is currently M1, Manufacturing Limited District. And this particular area is, it's identified in the master plan for more of a mixed use type zone. And the city is looking at a future rezoning of this area of the Portage Street corridor to a Live Work 1, maybe a Live Work 2 zone, which would align with the Boys and Girls Club facility, and it would no longer need a special use permit, but at the present time, being in the M1 zone, it does require the special use permit. Looking at the existing land use, there is it's predominantly commercial around this site, with some single-family residential on the north side of Vine Street. The future land use denotes the subject parcel as neighborhood edge, which is intended to allow for a mix of small-scale development in areas serving as a transition for more intensive commercial developments along key street corridors. So this area is just outside the downtown, and the zoning intensity is gradually decreasing as we move out of the commercial central business district. A community service center, as I mentioned before, does fit the vision for this area as far as a mix of uses. And this site does meet two of the strategic vision goals: shared prosperity and youth development. And just going back to the aerial here for a minute. So in addition to sending out our public hearing notices, the applicant did outreach and talked to property owners and nearby businesses. 2 letters of support were received, one from Kalamazoo Loaves and Fishes at 901 Portage Street, and a second one from Steve and Cindy Onderlinde of 650 Jackson Court. Under the conformance with the review criteria required for a special use permit, this location is compatible with a mix of uses that already exist in this area. As I mentioned, there's real estate office, used car sales operations, other nonprofits like Loaves and Fishes. There are some restaurants and other retail businesses in the area. And Portage Street is a connector street, which is designated for cross-city access for all modes of transportation, which includes a bus route coming right down Portage Street, which is also a great convenience for this being the new hub of the Boys and Girls Club for the Edison area. The Boys and Girls Club has, as mentioned, has dedicated years of service to the Edison neighborhood, and this location will be convenient. As they've mentioned in their information, it'll be convenient for attracting and serving youth from multiple neighborhoods at this particular location. So that's an added benefit. And per the additional criteria of the zoning ordinance for a community service center, this facility definitely will comply with the additional criteria mentioned, which was, will comply with the noise ordinance standards. And what's proposed as a gymnasium. There isn't any outdoor recreational opportunities, proposed for this development. So yes, it will comply. This will be new construction, so we'll have to go through the site plan review approval process. And the building, as you've seen in the packet, is set forward towards the Portage Street frontage. And it will meet all the other criteria of the ordinance. Access is from the parking lot, and the drop-off area is from Jackson Street. The existing road capacity is more than sufficient to handle the traffic needs for this particular use. And going into just some basic rationale for staff's recommendation for approval. The community service centers are allowed as a special use in Zone M1. This area of Portage Street corridor is being evaluated for rezoning, which would transition this block to a commercial or live-work zone, which would allow for a community service center by right. The Edison neighborhood is one of 3 focus neighborhoods for the Boys and Girls Club. However, it is understood this location will attract and serve youth from multiple neighborhoods. And lastly, this request touches on both shared prosperity and complete neighborhoods, which are 2 of the goals of the strategic plan. So it is staff's recommendation that the Planning Commission approve the special use permit tonight for this community service center. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for staff at this moment? Okay, not seeing any. Can we hear from the applicant?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Can everybody hear me okay? Well, good evening. My name is Matt Lynn, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Boys and Girls Club of Greater Kalamazoo. I don't really know much to say. Pete did an excellent job of making the case for us as well. So thank you, Peter, for that. Just to add at least maybe the rationale as to why we are seeking the special use permit at this time. As Pete alluded to, as an organization, we have been in existence since 1953. So in the 67 years of our operation, we have been a specialized youth development organization, providing programs and services in a variety of different capacities for youth in the age range of 5 years old all the way through 19. We currently operate in 3 different neighborhood areas, again, as Pete alluded to. However, our location, which is currently connected to the Edison Environmental Science Academy, is our largest flagship unit, as well as the location for our administrative offices. So as a program unit, we average on a good non-COVID year, approximately 80 kids who come through on an average daily basis. But in totality for the organization, we have a membership of a little over 1,300 youth that are connected to Boys and Girls Club across Kalamazoo. In 2018, we found out that Edison Elementary School would be slated as one of 3 schools to be torn down and rebuilt per the Kalamazoo Public School millage, and their desire to do upgrades on all of their facilities and all of their schools. And since we do not own our own property and are leasers of the current space we're in, that means our location will be torn down starting June of 2021. So that gave us an opportunity to look at what options we had available, whether or not to look at a lease space or somewhere on our own to build and own not only our own existing property, but a flagship building to house both our largest service unit as well as our administrative offices into the future. We were committed to staying connected to the Edison neighborhood because, again, this has been our home base for well over 20 years, and where we determined that this was the best aligned fit for this organization for the long term. The property that we had discovered, the Grapevine Furniture property, was ideal for a variety of reasons, but one of those being the connection of so many different crosstown connections to other neighborhoods and other schools, as well as the ease of both parents dropping off and picking up youth on a daily basis. And we feel this facility gives us the opportunity to expand our reach, but also expand the capacity that we'd have to serve more youth throughout the Kalamazoo area going forward.
Thank you. Any questions for staff at this point, or for the applicant?
Greg, if I can interject, one of the things that, and Andrew, please feel free to jump in as well. At this point in time, we have completed the following things in relationship to the property. One, we just recently, as of last week, completed the actual purchasing of that property. So we are now officially the owners of that 1.47 acreage footprint. That includes 4 parcels within that property spec. Number 2, we've completed an ULTA survey on that property through Hurley and Stewart. And we've also completed environmental assessments through EnviroLogic. So we've received a full phase 1 ESA, as well as a phase 2 ESA and BEA that was done by EnviroLogic on the property. So all those reports are in-house, and we have all that documentation as well.
Great. I guess I have a question, and this is much more of a site plan question, so I hesitate to ask, but I guess I will anyway. Where will your staff park?
So
Yeah,
Matt, I can jump in on this, guys. I'm Andrew Jorkos. I'm the owner of Kalamazoo Commercial Real Estate, and I help these guys with the acquisition of this property. And so right now they've been working on putting the building, like Pete had mentioned, up on the road and up on the northern part of the property. And then there is some contamination from just years of things that have happened on that site that are on the southernmost portion, and that would be where the parking would go. They're also looking at probably working with Loaves and Fishes and talking to them about maybe doing some shared parking in the already existing lot. So a lot of options over there. And, it's a great project and a great fit for these guys already being in the neighborhood. The kids are there. They're literally a block away. So for them to build their new center within arm's reach of where the kids have already been going for 20 plus years was a great fit. So does that answer the parking, Greg? It's southern part where there was contamination.
Yeah, no, I noticed and I realized this is just a concept plan that was in our packet. Considering what you said, it's mostly a youth center. I like the big drop-off area, big turnaround, not a lot of huge parking. You're not going to need a huge parking lot, but I figure there's going to be staff there, especially with administrative offices. So that's why I asked the question that way. And it doesn't have to be right, on the property. I'm sure your staff might have a different opinion, but the, working with Loaves and Fishes or something like that, it's not germane to this decision other than, we don't want to overload the neighborhood with a lot of, vehicles blocking driveways and stuff like that. So the fact that you're thinking about it in that sort is sort of where I'm going and what I was looking for. So thank you. Any other questions for the applicant at this moment? Ms. Ellis.
So with the Edison being rebuilt with the new plans, whenever that is down the road, will they incorporate the Boys and Girls Club, or will you guys just be a separate now?
We'll be a separate entity from them. We'll still have a very dynamic partnership. As Andrew alluded to, from the design of the new school building where the playground will be, which is currently where the bus garage is, it's really just a walk across Jackson Street to get from the school to the actual new facility for Boys and Girls Club. So we actually did it that way to eliminate them having to cross over any major thoroughfares, especially Portage Street, for safety purposes, but that would be the connection. There may be some joint program opportunities that we could do, which may include also using the green space at the school, the playground, since we don't have necessarily enough room on that portion of property for a significant amount of green space. But that would be the connection. There would be no longer any type of building or Boys and Girls Club facility directly connected to the new school.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? at this point? Okay, seeing none, we will thank you guys for the presentation. We'll open the public hearing. Are there any public comments that have been received?
There's one public
Yes.
comment. I'll play that now.
All right, thank you.
My name is Richard Stewart. I own the two parcels at 824 and 842 Portage Street, the former ambulance complex. It is directly across the street from the Grapevine complex that's proposed to be developed by Boys and Girls Club. And both I and the Southtown neighborhood are happy to welcome Boys and Girls Club to develop the parcels. We think they'll be great neighbors. However, the city in recent years reduced Portage Street from two lanes in each direction to only one lane in each direction, with a turn lane in the center from Stockbridge to Lovell. This change has caused massive increase in auto accidents that we've documented, submitted photos on Facebook repeatedly in the reduced lane area. This change has caused not only increase in accidents, but major traffic delays, increased congestion, and increase in air pollution from the starting and stopping traffic. This development that you're proposing, we fully support, but we ask that the city open Portage Street back up to two lanes in each direction. So it would be two lanes to the north, two lanes headed south. Because few cars turn at the turn lanes, it is a thoroughfare and not a turn area. We believe that the new development will bring additional traffic to the area, which we are happy to accommodate, but for the safety of those dropping off the kids, and all of us neighbors, we want to have the road 4 lanes. We can share the end lanes with bicycles just like you do the shared lanes on Vine Street. But this area of Portage is where the school buses off Jackson tie into, so that chokes the traffic. We have the railroad track, which with only the 1 lane in each direction backs traffic up for miles and takes 10 stoplights before all the traffic disperses. We also have the city bus that stops on nearly every block down here. It is only safe and prudent to reopen Portage Street, and also city staff has ignored the Southtown neighborhood plan. We are a diverse neighborhood. This is our business district. Many of the property owners are
There's a limited comment period, so that would have been the end of
Okay.
the time for the voicemail.
All right. And did I hear, was there only one comment?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. All right. Well, hearing no others, we'll close the public comment period. Thank you for submitting that. Any technical or clarifying questions at this time?
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, cool. That was because I work off of Portage Road as well, and that was my only concern. That I'm glad that resident had actually brought it up, because that was my concern, was just the traffic issue and the safety, because there are a lot of accidents that do tend to happen over there, and hopefully the city is going to be looking back into the traffic like they did on the north side, because on that street, especially because we're going to have a new apartment complex put over there, potentially a new restaurant put over there, and just re-looking at all the traffic, because that can be kind of dangerous, especially once we go, like after COVID and things start going back to normal, that intersection does get really busy.
That is true. I'm going to relay the comments received from Mr. Stewart back to the city planner and the traffic engineer so that they can continue to compile information. It sounds like Mr. Stewart has already relayed some information to the city on his observations as a business owner and resident along Portage Street. But yeah. So it is something that needs to be evaluated further.
Well, and one very positive thing about our development is we're already there. So I would argue that we're going to add no new traffic. We're literally a block away. So I don't disagree that Portage is a busy street, but it's not a new business. We're not new traffic, and we're not expanding or bringing more in. It actually give us more room with parking. So that's where I'm at with that.
Thank you.
Any other clarifying questions? If not, we will look for let me get the agenda here. We'll look for a motion to kick off our discussion here. Motion to approve the special use permit to allow the community service center in the M1 district.
I so move to approve PC 2020.13, the approval of a special use permit for a community center in the M1 district.
Motion by Greenman Wright, support by Patelko. Ms. Greenman Wright, you want to start with discussion?
I am really excited. I was really excited to see the packet and to see the plans that the Boys and Girls Club have for that corner. It's been long empty and very sad, and it's kind of like a missing tooth on Portage Street. I'm really excited for the Boys and Girls Club to go there. They've done incredible work. I worked quite a bit at the Family Health Center that's at Edison. So I'm really excited to see their presence in the neighborhood expanding, as well as their accessibility to the Vine neighborhood and South Side. So the location, I think, is ideal. And I can't think of a better kind of anchor to have on that corner. So I will be voting in support, in addition to the fact that it checks many boxes for our master plan.
All right, thanks. Any other comments or items for discussion? And I would concur with the items in the staff report. It meets the requirements of the zoning ordinance, certainly complies with the master plan, and I hope it will serve as a catalyst for development that's been much discussed along the Portage Street corridor. So thanks for bringing the plan forward. With that, and no one yelling and screaming at me, we have a roll call vote, please.
We'll start with Ms. Chambers,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Espinosa,
Yes.
Greenman Wright,
Yes.
Milliken,
Yes.
Patelko,
Yes.
Bias,
Yes.
Wisner.
Yes.
All right. Great. Well, best of luck to you as well.
Thank you all very much.
Sorry. Okay. Do we have any other business? No. Okay.
We do not have any other business.
Good. I asked the question knowing the answer. Were there any citizens' comments that were submitted?
There were no general comments submitted.
Thank you for that. Mr. Urban, welcome
Yes.
to our Zoom meeting.
Yes, I have no
anything?
comments. I'm pleased with what looks like a win-win situation with regard to the Boys and Girls Club being able to be located right there and filling that missing tooth spot. So that's all. Just happy to see that.
Good. Well, thank you. All right, back to you, Mr. Eldridge. The city planners report.
So I don't have a lot to share tonight. As you have read, we are working on amendments to the Natural Features Protection Ordinance. Those will be should be ready for the November Planning Commission meeting. And the other thing in the works, obviously, is the public feedback going on for the downtown zone districts and uses for those districts, D1, D2, and D3. So those are all upcoming items. But yeah, nothing quite lined up for October yet. So, and as far as what else is in the packet, there is the site plan review list. So we continue to add to that. We are keeping incredibly busy with projects still coming up. So that's a very positive thing, but please reach out to staff if you have any questions or if you want to look at any of those particular site plans. Again, they're available on the City of Kalamazoo website. There's a separate web page for the site plans, and you can actually look at, pull up those individual plans and look at them. So that is all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Hey, that worked, huh?
We got it. We got a new member. Shoot, I was looking at the site plan report, which is the last page on the agenda.
Real character. Do you know who he is?
Andrew.
Okay.
Here. Thank you. Any miscellaneous comments by planning commissioners?
Was there an update meeting in person or anything like that, or for next schedule for the rest of the year?
I'm sorry, a meeting schedule? Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, schedule and location. All right, we're going to continue for the rest of the year on virtual.
I do not have an update. You are correct. They are continuing to evaluate sites. But in almost all cases, until we get elevated to the next stage of COVID-19 recovery, they're not going to have the occupancy level we need to hold many of our citizen meetings in person. So, I mean, I'll mention that, see if there's any sort of update that can be sent out. But, last I heard, they were still looking at a variety of sites, and we were going to plan on using the Zoom video conferencing, for the next few months, and hope that would be it.
Okay.
I would add, a lot of it depends on how the executive orders of the governor come out. While there has been a slowing of the COVID infection across Michigan, in particular lower Michigan, I think a lot of people are holding their breath to see what happens after the Labor Day holiday. As you may recall, there was spikes after Memorial Day and then again after the 4th of July holiday, when, again, people get together and they may not be particularly careful about social distancing and the like. So I think that the governor's office is being cautious. And if there is no similar spike in September, we may see an easing of some of those restrictions in lower Michigan as we get further into the fall months.
Good question. Any other comments from planning commissioners?
I do. I have one. This is just my spiel. The city of Kalamazoo is looking for poll workers for November. As you know, it's going to be a huge election. And if you guys know anybody that wants to work, they do pay. And if you know any high school seniors or even juniors, they can work as well. We need them bad. So all they have to do is fill out an application and send it to the county clerk's office. And training will be in October, and you do get paid for training. And in November, they will feed you breakfast, lunch, and dinner because we do have to stay at the polls, but we need people bad. It is excellent civil duty. It's a nice resume builder, and you get to meet people, and it's safe. They provide masks, shields. We keep you safe, but we definitely need poll workers. And don't forget to, the best thing too, especially with COVID, we do have absentee ballot applications getting ready to hit out. That'll be like in the next couple of weeks. So keep your eyes out, keep your eyes open for that, and make sure that you fill them out so that you can be safe. And if you do have to vote in person, just make sure you still stay safe and share it with everybody that you know that we need poll workers.
That's a great reminder. Thank you for sharing.
That actually was going to be my comment also, in honor of Charlie Koss, would remind us every time. But as Charlie was mentioning, there's a major need, especially for individuals who are from a lower risk category, as most of our poll workers in Kalamazoo County are over the age of 55. So if you have the time, it would be really great if you would apply.
I serve along with the city clerk and the city assessor on the city's election commission. And so I echo those statements. I will point out that it was shared with me by the city clerk that a few elections ago, this goes back some years, that he had a frantic call from one of the polls because I think they were in a school or church, and because these are machines at that time that need to be plugged in, the electrical outlet wasn't working. When he arrived, he found out that he did find an electric outlet that was working, but it was hooked up to the crock pot. And so that was important to keep that warm because, again, he had to feed everybody throughout the day. I think they had to make alternative plans, but the poll workers knew what was important. Forget about plugging in the machine, plug in the crock pot. So.
That's hilarious, Clyde. Thank you. They must have been Lutheran poll workers. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Any other comments?
Mr. Chair, I just received an update that the executive order for allowing electronic meetings was extended as of today through October 1st. So, and then these meetings are, electronic meetings can go 28 days beyond that date. So essentially that would get us into late October unless something changes. So, we have the ability to continue doing these Zoom video conference meetings, which everybody loves so much, for a few more months if we have to. Hopefully, hopefully not, but that was just passed along to me by your city planner who is on vacation, who shouldn't be watching this meeting right now, but she is sending me text messages. Thank you.
No good. No good. All right. Any other comments from planning commissioners? If not, enjoy what hopefully is a wonderful holiday weekend and the start to what hopefully is a pleasant fall and end to this crazy year. So thanks everybody. Be well.